Well, good morning, everybody. Madam Roy back again. Now, you kind of might be seeing something strange here today. You notice I have my high-velocity patent 3-speed fan blowing into my room. You might be thinking, wait a minute, Matt, isn't it the middle of winter? I mean, it is February 9th. Well, check this out, guys. What is the current temperature?
It's 61 degrees in Chesapeake right now.
Isn't that incredible? It is 61 degrees right now, and it's going to be that way probably till this evening, and then it's going to drop back into the 40s. So I thought I would take the advantage of this beautiful spring-like weather and air the house out. I have my other window open. Ideally, I would like to have the fan facing the other way because that would force the air out there and into this window, and it would have a nice circular motion. But unfortunately, the rubber feet that hold it the other way are kind of worn, and because my window ledge is very narrow, it's probably only about 6 or 7 inches, I can't get the fan to stay securely. So even though this isn't ideal, it's still pumping nice, cool, fresh air into this house. If you take a look in here, I opened the window here in the guest room, and even though the fan is really facing the wrong way, I can still feel cool air coming in here. I have the window in the TV room open. This one not so much. I think the wind is coming in from the west, so it's actually going, let's see, that would be east, so it's coming this way, so we're not going to get too much air this direction, but it should still give us sufficiently air the house out, which really needs it. I mean, being cooped up all winter, this house has very stale air, unfortunately. And as you can see, Simon's up because I opened the window. I'm actually surprised he's not in it. We all know Simon's a lazy kitty cat. But anyway, this one's open in my parents' room. And the last one I want to do is open the window in my bathroom. And that'll give us full circulation of air throughout the top floor of the house. Don't really need to open the ones on the bottom floor because the cool air will circulate down there eventually. And I don't want to have to close a bunch of windows tonight when it starts getting cold. I think that's open. There we go. So that is it for that. Now, the next part of this vlog that I want to talk about, and yes, this is going to be a vlog, is my Dell Vostro 400. Yes, this computer is going to be going away. I just found out that I have 2 buyers interested in my Dell 17-inch laptop, the N7110, and it is going to be purchased either today or tomorrow by a friend of mine or a friend of a friend's. So what I've decided to do, since I have the money for that, I'm going to go ahead and list my Vostro 400 on Craigslist. I'm going to put $250 on it, so if any of you guys are interested, just let me know. But once that's sold, I'm going to be getting my new computer. I know you guys have been waiting for that, and there are definitely going to be some videos about that as well. I'm going to be doing an unboxing and a setup video, because I'm actually going to do some upgrades immediately, because the video card, the NVIDIA GeForce GT 640 card that's in here, I'm going to actually put into that computer. But what I'm going to do today is prepare this one to be sold. I'm actually going to go ahead and take out the video card and the 2 terabyte hard drive with all my YouTube videos on it, and we're at least temporarily going to transfer that to the HP Phenom Quad Core. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll try and film this as much as I can, so be back in just a couple of minutes. Alright, as you guys can see, I got the Vostro 400 and the HP 6000 series. And what we're going to do is we're going to change around some parts. This is so I can get this one prepared to be sold. Again, this one is not going to go anywhere. This is still going to be part of my collection because I do use this one on a semi-regular basis. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and move this one over to the side just for now. I'm going to go ahead and concentrate on the Dell. Now normally this computer would have had the thumb screws, but for safety reasons I put on just these regular screws instead. Alright, it's been a while since you guys have seen the inside of this computer. Let's see if it'll zoom in a little bit. Mainly want you guys to look at the two components I'm going to be taking out, which is the EVGA GeForce GT640 and the secondary hard drive, which is that 2 terabyte that holds my all my YouTube videos pretty much. So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and remove these two items. I know I haven't done one of these in a while. I'm going to reiterate a few important points when you're working on computers. If you don't have a wrist strap, like I don't right now, always ground yourself. Best way to do it's on the power supply, which is right here. Just touch it to discharge any static electricity that's built up. On this particular computer, it uses this bracket instead of individual screws to hold the expansion cards in. So just remove the screw there, and then you just have to pull up, and the bracket falls away. I'm going to go ahead and remove this card. Just kind of wiggle it a little bit till it comes out. Now for you guys that have never actually seen this card up front, I'll show you right there. It is the GeForce GT640 card. It's a really decent card. This is not a high-end gaming card by any means, but for video editing, it has plenty of CUDA cores built in, and for basic like light to medium range gaming, it's just fine for that. So I'm going to clean this up because you can obviously see there's a lot of dust that's built up over the last few months. But this one is going to go at least temporarily into the other computer. And one other thing I'm going to pull out here is the 2 terabyte hard drive. Be very careful when you remove these cables. These SATA data cables are very, very brittle. So just kind of pull out a little bit. Now if it's not coming out, if you're pulling and you're putting a little too much force on there, they're very easy to break. Sometimes there's a little pin you have to push on top. So you want to put even pressure with your thumb and your forefinger and just brace the computer somewhere and pull straight out. And then you do the same thing with the SATA power cable as well. Alright, now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and remove these 4 screws. I'm not going to make you watch that, so once this hard drive is out, I'll be back. Alright, now that the 4 screws are out of the hard drive, it's just easy enough to remove it out. And there we go. There's that 2 terabyte Western Digital Green drive that I got from my buddy Frank. Thanks again, Frank. This was a lifesaver. Now we are done with this computer for the moment. Go ahead and slide this to the side. Try and keep the screws neat and tidy if I can. You can see me. The next one we're going to work on is the HP. And you can see the 2 parts here that are going to go into it. The hard drive and the video card. I actually have to turn this one around. This one actually opens the opposite way. 2 thumb screws, which I did not remove on this and change to regular screws. We got 1, 2, and this one just pulls out. Now the video card on this is really, really easy to change. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it is right down here. And with this one, all you do is pull this lever up. This whole piece falls out, along with some of the drive blanks, the card blanks, sorry. You can pull it out temporarily. And then with this one, you just pull the card out. Now, because this one actually uses, if you guys see that, 2 of the expansion bays, I actually have to make sure this one's out anyway, so I guess it was a good thing that fell out in the first place. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that card into the computer. Remove the hard drive. It's actually a very hard angle with this one. I believe this one is actually a BTX case, but one of you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. It's actually designed like that. Now remember, when putting the cards in, you have to do even pressure so you don't break anything. And the card is installed. So I'm going to go ahead and put this bracket back. And that's it. The GeForce GT640 is now installed in the HP quad core. Now, the next thing I need to do is install the hard drive. Unfortunately, when I got this computer, if you can see right up here, I don't know if the camera is supposed to, there we go. This particular system, for whatever reason, I guess for ease of changing the hard drives out, I'll pull the one that's in there now, use these very proprietary mounting screws. If the camera will focus on that. Right here. Well, unfortunately, I don't have any of those screws left. I only came with 4. Somebody had actually must have had 2 hard drives in here before and forgot to replace the screws when they were done. So what I'm actually going to just do in this case, because this is only going to be temporary, is I am just going to lay this hard drive down here, and it should be fine. Now, I am going to have to take the cable out of the Dell and put in the HP, at least temporarily. So I'm going to go ahead and do all this, and I'll show you once it's completed. Alright, I now have the hard drive installed, albeit in a temporary fashion, but it's in there enough. The cables are actually holding it in place. Again, this is probably only going to stay this way for the max maybe a couple of weeks, so that should be just fine. We got the video card installed in there. So this computer is complete. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the last thing I have to do with the the Dell Vostro, which is put that video card that was in this one in there, and then we're going to be ready to test the HP. Alright, and now I'm ready to put the video card in this computer. And since, who knows, maybe one of you guys might be buying this from me, I'll show you what's actually going in there. It's a decent card. It's a Radeon HD 6570. Again, not a high-end gaming card, but definitely a mid-ranged one. You can see the ports on there. We have DVI, VGA, and HDMI. So I'm going to go ahead and put this card in. This one is a low power consumption card, so it requires no external power, no 4 or 8-pin power connections. Just whatever the PCI Express card provides. Go ahead and put that in. And then once this is completed, I'll be ready to install the OS again. I'm of course going to reinstall Windows 7 on here. So when I come back, we'll go ahead and test the HP computer. Alright, the HP is now hooked up with all the new hardware, so as UXW Bill would say, smoke test. Well, that's a good sign. Now I have a few devices that we'll have to install. One problem I was having is I had to remember how powerful the power supply in this is, because I do have that GeForce GT640 card in there. But the power supply in this is rated about 380, 390 watts, which is more than enough for that card. Alright. And it did detect my new Western Digital drive, which is right down there, the 2 terabyte. So we'll hit, here's a problem I'm having. This is a Bluetooth keyboard, so I can't really hit F1 or anything. So I'm going to have to try to do is turn the computer off and turn it back on, and hopefully it bypasses that new hardware found screen. That's something that HP BIOSes have for some reason, just to tell you, I guess, if there was a hardware change. And of course now it's complaining that there's no keyboard. let's see. We have to go get another keyboard for this, so I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, now that I got the USB keyboard, albeit a real crappy one, plugged into this temporarily, let's try it again. Now I should be able to hit F1. Might have to do something in the BIOS to prevent it from looking for a keyboard, because that's what it's doing. It's looking for a USB keyboard, which I don't actually have. I just use my Logitech Bluetooth one. Alright, now we should be able to hit F1, which I'll have to use a... wouldn't you know, that's the one key missing off this keyboard. So, I'm going to have to use my trusty... I don't know what the heck you call this thing, crocheting tool. See if we can do that. And there we go. I actually make pot holders sometimes, so I use that to put the loops through. Missing operating system, which is making me think that it's probably trying to boot from that 2 terabyte drive. So let me see if I can fix that. Okay, I think we fixed the problem. Yeah. For some reason, I had it booting up to the USB device, where when it was hooked up on the other side, there was no USB hard drive. But in this case, I have this 1 terabyte USB Toshiba drive, so it was trying to boot off of that, which of course has no operating system. So I just changed the operating system to boot from the SATA hard drive and not a USB device. And as you can see, it is coming up. Now I got to, of course, install some drivers and things, but that won't be too much of a problem. Make sure she comes up all the way. And there we go. So I will call that a successful computer video. Please remember to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.